right, so this is from, oops, why is it taking so slow? Okay, there we go. This is from, what is it? 14B. So let's just write that in red. Section 14B. All right. All right, number 4. Here we go. This is one of those substitution problems because it kind of looks like x squared minus 6x plus 9, doesn't it? Kind of, but it's not an x. What is it? It's an m plus 5n, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let x equal m plus 5n. See that? So instead of m plus 5n in parentheses squared, it's a little ugly, it'd be a lot nicer, wouldn't it, if instead of m plus 5n it was just what? X squared. And it'd be a lot nicer if it wasn't minus 6 times m plus 5n. It'd be a lot nicer if it was minus 6 times what? X. And then that plus 9. Isn't that a lot easier to factor than what that would be right there? Yeah. So we can factor this just like that, can't we? Got an x right here, x right here. I do my signs first. This times this has to be positive, and this plus this has to be negative. So what are my signs? Plus and minus? No. If it's plus minus, then a positive times a negative is negative 9. Okay? They have to multiply to be positive and add up to be negative. And that means they both have to be negative. Alright? You see that? Alright, so what numbers are we going to use? Well, we got just two choices, really. 9 and 1 and 3 and 3, right? So 9 and 1 is not going to give us a negative 6, is it? So 3 and 3, right? So 3 and 3. You with me? All right. So we factored it. Well, we factored the x, but remember what the deal is here? Actually, let's do it like this. Watch. See how they're the same exact thing? Okay, it's a perfect square, isn't it? So I could just go x minus 3 and just make it look like that, couldn't I? Now watch though, we don't circle that, that's not our answer because we're not trying to factor x squared minus 6x plus 9. We just use that as a little trick to just to make it a little easier for us. So what do we have to do with that x? We have to substitute, right? We got to take that m plus 5n and replace it with that x. So instead of x minus 3, it's what? It's m plus 5n, right? That's your x. And then just minus 3, right? And what are you doing to that whole thing? Squaring it. And there it is, it's factored. If you want to write it as two separate things, you could. You could go m plus 5n minus 3, then another parentheses, m plus 5n minus 3. That'd be fine. I wouldn't mark it wrong. Okay, it's just a little neater, a little more compact. Okay, make sense? All right, let's do this one. What kind is this? Is this just a regular two parentheses factoring deal? It's not just a regular trinomial, is it? It's a what? It's a what? Sum or difference? Well, it's not a sum, it's a difference because you got a minus. Difference of two cubes, right? Are you cubing something to get 125? 5, right? 5 cubed. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. So watch. I write it like this. I say 5. You don't really have to put that in parentheses, but I'm going to. That's being cubed, correct? And is there something being cubed here? Sure. m plus 2n. And that's being cubed as well. That's the first thing I do. I set it up so I see something cubed minus something cubed. You got it? Now we got to learn our little factoring formula or whatever you want to call it for difference of two cubes. Let's just do it with x and y right now, just so we remember it. Remember, there's more stuff in the second one, so I'll make that a little bit longer. Let's do the signs first. Same, opposite, positive. So it's the same as this, opposite of this, and this one's always positive. Okay? Let's just do it with x and y's instead of the numbers, just so we remember what the formula looks like. Okay, remember? X and y go right here. What goes here? X squared, what goes here? Y squared, what goes here? Just xy. Alright, can you remember that? If you remember that, you should be able to do this. So now it's x minus y. Instead of x, though, what is our x over here? What is it? It'd be 5, wouldn't it? Okay, so that's like, because look, it's x cubed minus y cubed. So what's the first thing that's being cubed? It's the x, 5 cubed. You see it? What about the y? What would act as our y over here? m plus 2n. Okay, this whole parentheses right here is being cubed, so that acts as our y. So wherever you see an x, you put in a 5. Wherever you see a y, you put in an m plus 2n. Make sense? Okay. So let's do it. What's this going to be? 5 minus y. What's our y? M plus 2n. Watch. M plus 2n. See it? Now, the reason they put a bracket here is because you could put another big parentheses there if you want to. It wouldn't make any difference. But they actually put a bracket here, don't they? Just to make it so we don't have like tons of parentheses all over the place. It just kind of separates it a little bit more. You could put a parentheses around this. That's fine. But I'm looking at the answer key, and they put a bracket, so I'll write it as a bracket. You okay with that? All right. So let's make this bracket for this big parentheses. And what do? We go x squared. Well, it's not x. What is it? It's 5. What's 5 squared? It's 25. So put a 25 right here. Good so far? All right. And then plus xy. So this is my x, this is my y. I'm multiplying them together. So it's 5 times m plus 2n. Get that? All right. That's the x and that's the y. It's being multiplied together. Plus what? Y squared. Now the way let me see how they write that. Yep. Write it just like I would. Watch. M plus 2n. That's our y, but what are we doing to it? We're squaring it, and what do you put around it? Big old bracket, and that's exactly the way the answer looks in the book. So it looks a little crazy, but it's really the same thing as this, isn't it? It's just it gets a little uglier because all that mess is y. That part's not that hard, right? The 5. But that part looks a little ugly. But really, we didn't really do any math at all. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and distribute this through, couldn't you? So you could go 5 minus m minus 2n. This would not be incorrect if you did this. If you wanted to do this, that would be perfectly fine. All right? And then if you did this, watch. What would you get here? 5m plus 10n. Okay? And then if you wanted to, you could go through this. If I foiled that out, it would be what? M squared, I'm running out of room, plus 4mn. 4mn, whoops, plus what? 4n squared, right? And put a parentheses around that. Are there any like terms? Nope, there's no like terms or anything. So you could have just kept it like that if you wanted to. But they let you keep it like this. This is actually how they wrote the answer. So it's perfectly fine to keep it like that. Then you don't have to worry about distributing that out. They just want the factors. They don't really care that all this mess in here is simplified. It's fine just like this. Okay? You alright? Anything else on this? Alright, well, today I'm going to give you a practice test. Do you know why? Because we are taking a test, not tomorrow. We're taking it on Thursday. Alright, so we're taking a test on Thursday, and it's only going to cover sections 1.1 to 1.4. You got that? So that means Friday we're doing the corrections. And then we're free during the week. Okay, so no homework, no anything like that. Okay, so you're done with this section. We start on section 1.5 when you come back from Thanksgiving. Alright, so I'm going to give you this. Look, that's a lot of days to review, right? I'm basically letting you work on this in class today. Then we have Tuesday, and then we have Wednesday just to answer questions. Alright, that's good enough, isn't it? Alright, so that's all we're going to do. I'll give you the worksheet, and then you can start working on that.